Welcome to 100 Stories for My Daughter. Here you'll find short and inspiring stories for children and adults about love, dreams, and believing in yourself. Each story is a small gift for the soul. Listen, share, and be inspired. Hansel and Gretel live with their parents in a small, humble house near the edge of a vast forest. Times were tough, and food was often scarce. One day, their parents asked them to gather berries deep in the woods. "We need every bit of food we can find," their father said, handing Hansel a basket. "Stick together and don't stray from the path." The siblings nodded and set off into the forest. Hansel, the older brother, felt the weight of responsibility. As they walked deeper, the path became harder to follow. The sunlight dimmed beneath the thick canopy of trees, and shadows stretched long across the forest floor. Hansel had an idea. He took pieces of bread from his pocket and began dropping small crumbs along the trail. "What are you doing?" Gretel asked, her brow furrowing. "If we get lost, we can follow the crumbs back home," Hansel explained confidently. Gretel wasn't so sure, but didn't argue. They spent the afternoon picking berries, their baskets slowly filling. As the sun began to set, they turned to follow their trail back. But to their dismay, the breadcrumbs were gone. "The birds!" Gretel whispered, pointing to a flock of sparrows in the trees. Hansel's heart sank. Now what? The forest seemed darker than ever, and the path had disappeared. Gretel clutched her brother's hand. "We'll figure it out," she said softly, though her voice trembled. As night fell, Hansel and Gretel wandered through the woods, their stomachs growling. Just when they thought they couldn't take another step, they spotted a faint light in the distance. They followed it and gasped when they reached its source, a house made entirely of gingerbread and candy. The walls were covered in icing, the windows made of clear sugar, and the roof lined with chocolate shingles. "Is it real?" Gretel asked, her eyes wide. Hansel touched one of the candy canes framing the door and broke off a piece. "It is!" The siblings eagerly began nibbling at the house, too hungry to think of anything else. Suddenly, the door creaked open. A woman stepped out, her figure shrouded in shadow. Her voice was sweet, but sharp. My, what have we here? 2 little children eating my house?" Hansel and Gretel froze. The woman stepped closer, her face now visible, a mix of kindness and cunning. "You must be starving," she said, her smile not quite reaching her eyes. "Come inside, and I'll give you a proper meal." Reluctantly, the siblings followed her. The interior of the house was warm and inviting, with a table laden with food. But something about the woman's gaze made Gretel uneasy. The next morning, Hansel and Gretel woke to find themselves locked in a small room. The woman revealed her true nature, a cunning witch with a penchant for playing games. "You'll earn your freedom," the witch said, "if you can complete my tasks. Fail, and you'll stay here forever." Hansel stepped forward. "We'll do it. What's the first task?" The witch handed him a ring of keys. "Find the one that unlocks your door." Hansel sorted through the keys, trying them one by one. Gretel watched intently, her anxiety growing as each wrong key clicked uselessly. "Let me try," Gretel said finally. She noticed one key was slightly shinier than the rest and slid it into the lock. The door clicked open. "Well done," the witch said, her eyes narrowing. "But there's more to come." Each day, the witch gave them a new challenge, identifying spices in a soup, using only their sense of smell, solving riddles, and transporting fragile eggs across a room without breaking them. At first, Hansel tried to take the lead, but his frustration often got the better of him. Gretel, though nervous, began stepping in, her careful thinking and calm demeanor proving invaluable. "You're good at this," Hansel admitted one evening. "So are you," Gretel said. "We just have to work together." One evening, the witch gave them her hardest task yet, a puzzle with dozens of pieces that had to be arranged perfectly to form a map. "You have until sunrise," she said with a sly smile. "If you fail, you stay forever." Hansel sighed, staring at the pieces. "This is impossible," he muttered. "No, it's not," Gretel said firmly. "We just have to start somewhere." Piece by piece, they worked together. Gretel noticed patterns that Hansel missed, while Hansel's quick thinking helped them solve tricky sections. As dawn approached, the final piece slid into place. The siblings looked at each other, exhausted but triumphant. The witch appeared, her expression unreadable. "You've done well," she said, "but there's one final test." The witch led them to the gingerbread house's kitchen. "Bake me a cake," she ordered. "If it pleases me, I'll let you go. If not..." She left the rest unsaid. Hansel and Gretel exchanged a glance. As the witch left the room, Gretel whispered, "This is our chance." They quickly formulated a plan. Hansel would keep the witch distracted, asking for ingredients and stalling for time, while Gretel searched for a way out. As Gretel explored, she noticed a hidden latch on the wall. She tugged it, revealing a passageway. She returned to Hansel, who had managed to delay the witch with questions about frosting. "We're ready," Gretel said loudly, giving Hansel a meaningful look. The witch approached the cake, but before she could inspect it, the siblings darted toward the passage. "Stop them!" the witch screeched, but it was too late. Gretel had memorized the map from the puzzle, and the siblings navigated the maze of the house with ease. Hansel and Gretel ran until they could no longer hear the witch's cries. The forest seemed less menacing now, the sunlight breaking through the trees. Along the way, they met a group of travelers who shared food and water with them. One traveler, an old man, listened to their story and smiled. "You two have learned what many adults never do," he said. "Together, you're stronger than you could ever be alone." The siblings thanked him and continued their journey, their bond stronger than ever. When they finally returned home, their parents embraced them tightly. "We were so worried," their mother said, tears in her eyes. Hansel and Gretel shared their story, each taking turns to describe their adventure, but what stood out most wasn't the witch or the gingerbread house. It was how they had relied on each other. From that day on, the family faced their challenges together, knowing that with teamwork, trust, and a bit of cleverness, they could overcome anything.